Welcome to my first ever bullet journaling video. My name is Mandy and I'm so excited to show you this month's spread. As you can tell by the thumbnail already, it is inspired by strawberries. So if you want to see how I plan my bullet journal, just continue watching. So I started bullet journaling initially 2 years ago, but the semester just got so hectic and chaotic that I decided to stop. I found it difficult to see an overview of all my deadlines, upcoming assignments, and tests that I decided to revert back to an undated planner, which I found more easily manageable and better to use during the school year. But now that I have more time on my hands, I've decided to go back to bullet journaling. So I'm just going to start out by outlining the image using a Sakura micron pen. I would recommend using either a 0.3 or a 0.35 tip. I think it gives the image more of a crisp and clean look. So you guys can go ahead and do that or use whatever pen you have available to you. I'm going to color in the strawberries with various pinks and reds. If you guys are curious as to what supplies I use throughout the video, I'll list them all out in the description bar down below, so go check that out. So I'm just going to go in with a green Copic marker to color in the leaves. Just a fair warning for you guys, if you do decide to use Copic markers in your bullet journal, just know that they do tend to bleed a lot. So you're going to see me do this gingham print a lot throughout the video. It's very similar to plaid and it's very easy to recreate. You just have to make a lot of various lines and play with the spacing, thin, thick, further, and closer apart. I really like this print because it adds to the picnic and farmer's market vibe. I did the quotes page in real time, but in hindsight, I should have just done it off camera because having the camera there made me really nervous. My letters didn't turn out as great as I wanted it to, but that's okay. I always have trouble doing the R's and S's because they always turn out crooked. So let me know if you guys always have trouble with one certain letter. So as you guys can already see, I messed up. I'm just going to take an index card and some washi tape and tape it over that area and pretend like it never happened. This is one of my favorite tricks I like to use whenever I mess up. So just a tip for you. So I'm just going to zoom you guys in here. I'm using a white gel pen to kind of add a little pop to the lettering. I found it a little plain, but if you guys want to know what I did, every time you go down in like your cursive or your calligraphy, that's where I would apply the white gel pen to. I think it added a nice touch. To the next spread, I'm just gonna draw in my calendar. As you can see, I'm only using one page. I used to do 2 pages, but I found that I really didn't use my calendar as much as I should have, and I found that I was wasting a lot of space. So I just decided to shrink my calendar to 1 page, and I found that it works best for me. The great thing about bullet journaling is that it's so customizable that you can just do whatever works best for you and your lifestyle. If you're curious about the grid spacing, it's a 4x5 box, and to center the calendar, I am going 2 and 3 grid spaces away from the left and right margins. I'm just going to go over the lettering and numbers with a white gel pen. I know you can't really see it well on camera, but I promise you in real life it pops out really well, so it's just up to you. You can use a black marker, but I really like the white on color. So I'm just gonna add a little decoration on this page as well because it does look a little plain. I'm gonna add a pink garland on the top of the page, and later I'm gonna add one to the bottom as well. I like to write my goals down in the beginning of each month, so I included a small portion in my bullet journal to write them down so I can manifest them, remind myself, and keep myself accountable. Also, as you can see in the bottom right corner, there's an outline of a jar down below. I'm going to later label it as a GRE vocab tracker. I'm actually on a pre-PA track, and if you guys didn't know, this is our entrance exam. It's very similar to the SAT, in which on one of the portions of the exam, you'll be tested over a bunch of different vocabulary. So this month, I'm trying to learn as much vocab as I can, and to keep track with that, I'm going to color in the jar as I learn some vocab. I'm going to make a little section to keep track of all the important dates I have within the month. As you can see, the calendar is not that big, so whenever I do have an event or something coming up within the month, I like to mark it on my calendar and then add that little detail to this event section for more space. Moving along to the next section is my monthly expense tracker. I like to physically write down all the transactions I've made within the month, whether it's deposits or withdrawals. I know nowadays everyone uses their credit card, and at the end of each month their bank sends them a bank statement and you can see all the transaction you made there. But I feel like whenever I'm using my credit card, I'm just mindlessly swiping and I'm not completely aware of all my purchases. So with this method, I'm more conscious of how I'm spending my money, and it kind of keeps me in check. Also, what happens when you're using cash in Chinatown for boba food? You won't know because your bank doesn't really track your cash. So if you're curious, the grid spacing for the chart is going to be 3, 12, 3, and 6 respectively. So for my next spread, I like to keep track of some habits I like to have throughout the month. I'm just going to draw in 9 mini May calendars, but you guys could draw as many or as little calendars as you want. But each time I do a habit, I'll fill in a circle for the corresponding day with a marker. The spacing in between the calendars is 4 grid spaces, and I do like to leave a space in between the title and the mini calendar so that the spread doesn't look too cluttered or too cramped. I like to dedicate a page where I can dump and write out all my ideas and thoughts on one cohesive page. I'm usually a sticky note kind of gal, but sticky notes can get a little messy and they are prone to getting lost, so I find this spread very useful for me. also use my bullet journal as a scrapbook to keep a montage and document all the memories I made within the month. I know it sounds a little extra, but for me it's really fun and therapeutic, so that's why I'm making this May at a Glance spread. I usually make a collage at the end of each month so I can look back at an overview of what I did in this month at a later date. So for my weekly spread, I like to keep it pretty minimal, but as I said before, I tend to use my bullet journal more so as a scrapbook than a planner, but of course I still use it to keep track of any errands I need to do and as an organizer. As you can see, I have various boxes in my spread. Those are just designated areas where I like to put my highlights of the week, a place to jot some notes down, my to-do list, and things that are coming up within the next week that I need to include on my next week's weekly spread. Now, you guys don't have to include these. You guys could just do your weekly spread, following the similar theme, but you don't have to have all these boxes like I do. So we're finally nearing the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and joining me as I plan my bullet journal for this upcoming month. I hope you guys got some inspiration or some ideas for your journal, and I'm going to do a final flip through of the notebook. But before I go, I hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you guys are staying safe out there. And always remember to stay rad and stay bad. Bye!